Hello and welcome. My name is Alan. Today we're going to be doing more of my thoughts on society, what needs to be done to better us. Episode 1, I've talked about education. Episode 2 was healthcare. Episode 3, I talked about the legalization or decriminalization, regulation, and taxing of drug use, prostitution, and gambling. Today, I want to talk about taxing the rich. This is something that needs to be done without a doubt. There needs to be a tax on the rich. Amazon makes billions. Jeffrey Bezos made billions. Although he's now no longer the head of Amazon. But even when he was the head of Amazon, he was making billions. There needs to be, and they paid no taxes a number of years. And a number of other corporations have done this. They're making millions and billions while paying no taxes in certain years. That needs to stop. There are corporations and rich who hide money offshore. That needs to be fined so that it becomes untenable to hide your money offshore. I know the majority of Americans are for taxing the rich, taxing the corporations. This is one of the biggest issues, without a doubt. Another pillar to build a better society on. If you make money from society, you become wealthy from society. All right. But you have a duty, a responsibility to pay back, to help, you know, these people. And some of it right now, where these rich people don't want to pay their share of taxes, hide their money offshore. California, it's just greed. California just recently had to pass a law so that Amazon would give its workers actual bathroom breaks to go to the bathroom. Something that should never had to get to that point. Again, that's just greed. You're on our time, on our clock. You're costing us money by having to use your bodily functions. Greed is not good. The only reason there hasn't been another revolution where people have gone out and put the rich's head on pikes is because of the propaganda that has kept them at political sides against each other. We need to tax, there needs to be a wealth tax, raise the estate tax, or bring it back. I think they might have tried to get rid of it at some point, or they might have gotten rid of it. We need that. You can't just say, I give all my wealth off to my child without it being taxed. And then you have some young person who is all of a sudden wealthy just because they inherited it. There's always been this idea of paying it forward. Something I've heard, I'm sure you've heard. I think they did make a movie called Pay It, or where one of the big things was pay it forward. Just meaning you need to think of someone but yourself. Give your fair share. I mean, honestly, if you were to actually pay workers a decent wage, I doubt there would be as much issue. But we'll get to a video on workers because that's another one I want to talk about. But we need to tax the rich, estate taxes, and income tax. They shoot Social Security, which is supposed to be for everyone, they only get taxed to their first 100,000 or 100 and I think it's 130,000 or something now, but maybe 150. There's some people who are so wealthy, they make that in a paycheck. They make more than that in a paycheck. So, one check, one payment period is all they have to be taxed. And it's like, we get all of our other tax. They end up not having to pay anything for income taxes because some of them don't make income as in an actual check, as in payroll. They get it off stocks or whatever. That's why there had been a push for so long to get rid of the estate tax because those that inherit their wealth wouldn't have to pay taxes that way. Dwight D. Eisenhower had taxes in America up above 90% on the rich. This is a well documented fact. We didn't start seeing this drop in taxes until a little later on. I guess it was around Nixon or so. So Eisenhower, who was the president in the 1950s, I think Nixon dropped it a little bit. It was slowly dropped, even through, I guess, to Nixon. But the big drop was Ronald Reagan in the 1980s with one of the biggest lies of all time: trickle down economics, which, as I have stated, is a lie and does not work. It does not work because the rich do not do anything that would help the lower classes. For them, it's all greed. You know, they don't want to pay their taxes. They don't want to pay employees more than they have to. And sometimes they don't even like to do that. But yeah, we need to tax the rich. And I'm not even saying get up there to the 90 percentile like Dwight D. Eisenhower. Many who they're claiming are radical aren't even asking to get up there. Some are just asking 50%. That's all. At least pay that. But there is such a pushback, a cry of, that's just an attack on us for being wealthy. Seriously. You have no idea of being attacked for your wealth or lack thereof is actually like. But I say tax a wealth tax on the rich of 50% over their first 10 million. So yes, they get 10 million. That's only charged Social Security or income taxes. So if you charge 50% on everything they make over that, they still have several million. Because like I said, Social Security is only within like the first 150,000. A lot of them don't even have to pay income tax. And then there's loopholes. There needs to be a closing of some of these loopholes. But say if they get the loopholes, all they have to pay is Social Security. That's still 9 point some million, plus the other 50% that you get to keep from the wealth tax. So let's say they make 500 million. Well, that's 490 million they have to be taxed upon. Which ends up being 245 million plus the extra 9 million, so 254 point some million. They get to still have a 50% wealth tax. Will not hurt someone like that. And yet they cry, oh, don't push something like that. That's just horribilism. Horrible. And they try to pair it with communism. They try to use scare tactics as the words communism and socialism. Number one, you don't know what those mean. Again, you're just using them as scare tactics. You don't know the full definition of the words. But tax the rich. It does not mean the middle class or the working class or the poor get taxed a bigger amount. It means the rich. Those who have millions of dollars. And again, this would only count after for those who have over $10 million. They still get to keep 9 point some million. Anyway, tax the rich. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I will try to get some sources in the description below the video. As always, I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.